and even going to schools doing gun violence, gun safety and stuff, talking about how kids shouldn't have it, is helping his case. That's why the district attorney is saying 3 months now. It was supposed to be 2 years.
You need to come talk to me.
Yeah, but like you said, Justin, though, even if he does get out of it, he's got a big suspension from the NBA coming just a moment. So that's a good topic, and we'll be back here on the range.
And we're back here on the range. Now, for everyone that had even cared to turn to ESPN on Sunday, saw a bit of a surprise. It caught me by surprise as much as I like watching golf, but this caught me by surprise that Tiger Woods did an interview with Tom Rinaldi. Very impressive that he did that. Problem was he had some restrictions on it. Now, he restricted at the time it would air. He said it couldn't air until 7:30 Eastern time, which was 6:30 here, which doesn't, okay, that's all right. Then he said, hey, you only have 5 minutes to interview. That's what I thought that was a kind of a shady thing. He said, you only have 5 minutes. So Rinaldi, being smart like he is, decided to not even tell him what questions he was going to answer. He was going to ask him until the 5 minutes started. So Tom Rinaldi, smart man. Tiger Woods, kind of shaky. So, I mean, and in the interview, if anybody saw it, I saw when it first aired, but the fact is, Tiger was very guarded. Let's put it that way. When the first thing that came up, when Rinaldi said, "What happened November 27th?" his first reaction was, "It's all in the police report." Why don't you just answer the question? Why do you have to say that? Because now, if ESPN gets a hold of that police report, which they kind of already have, suddenly all your business is now back on the air, on SportsCenter yet again. So now you've opened yourself up to even more questions when they release that kind of stuff. So, fellas, what do y'all think about that Tiger Woods interview?
Well, since he answered probably about half of those questions, because some of those would be like, that's between me and the family, but it did come off a little bit shady as the fact that he didn't answer some of the questions like fully, and I have to give Tom Rinaldi a little bit of kudos for actually squeezing that many questions in a 5-minute span.
18 questions in 5 minutes.
That's a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. Now he asked the good questions, the ones that America wants to know, like what happened that day.
How does he move forward?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? What does he expect to happen at the Masters from the crowd? That is. So I mean, he asked questions that we all asked ourselves internally and externally here on the show. He asked those questions. Tom Rinaldi did great. Putting Tiger on the spot. And that kind of took me by surprise.
Took Tiger by surprise also, because that's why I felt like he was answering some of those questions like, that's
between me and Elon.
It's between me and Elon. So either you think he has something to hide, or
I wouldn't say he has something to hide. I just believe that if he would have answered those questions now,
then he would bypass him.
Say more than likely the Masters probably wasn't gonna happen for him, because all the stuff would have just came back, all this and all that. But really, I think he should, when he gave his apology and all that, he should have just put it all out there. Just put it all out there. Because now he's getting even more negative press, just the fact that some people believe that he's thinking he's bigger than the Masters is now. And now just going to focus on Tiger Woods just coming back rather than just the Masters in tradition. Because, the Masters, and what's the quote on the Masters, please?
It's tradition unlike any other.
That's the basis for the Masters, and now Tiger Woods just coming back after all this, and it's like, what? Tiger Woods coming back. So now people want to go just to see Tiger Woods play, even though majority of the time that's what they want to see, but it's not focusing mainly on the Masters anymore. But as far as the interview, I think it really didn't help him, nor did it hurt him. It didn't really show me anything. It's just him just dodging more questions.
You can't blame you can't blame Tiger for the fans wanting to see Tiger.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. I'm not
But I
saying-
got to give kudos to Tiger. I know I said he was a little shaky on that one, but it was Tiger's idea to have that interview. He called ESPN. ESPN got Tom Rinaldi, flew him down to Orlando. So it was Tiger's idea to have the interview. Now that's him showing some initiative to try to get to try to at least clear some things up.
But
Tried.
And he really didn't. That was
He didn't clear it.
after
He
the whole
didn't.
interview and
Yeah.
him calling. There was no reason.
There was
There was no.
after
He
watching
could have
it.
tweeted that.
Yeah.
And then they would have aired it on Sports Center.
After all this time, I do believe that it came to a point where I thought it was a pointless interview. When at first I heard of a Tiger Woods interview, an exclusive interview, I'm over here thinking Sports Center special.
Yeah.
Remember his apology to it.
Sunday conversation.
Yeah, Sunday conversation. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I'm like Sunday
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
Now, granted, remember when when Tiger Woods, when he came out and was talking, his public apology lasted 13 minutes.
Mhm.
This little punk interview lasted 5 minutes. So he talked for 13 minutes for no apparent reason.
Yeah. And then came back for another
5
5
minutes.
for even more no apparent reason.
Yeah.
So that's like 18 minutes worth of stuff that we can't get back.
That don't mean shit. But once I see that police report, I will be happy.
Yes.
All right, moving on. In the NFL, especially come playoff time, not a lot of games are decided in the first 60 minutes, and overtime, everyone's kind of skeptical about whether each team should get a possession. Well, you're gonna get your wish because both teams now will get a possession in overtime. After a 28-4 vote, the only way for that to happen in the playoffs is if the first team kicks a field goal and the second team scores a touchdown, and that game is over. Now, if both teams fail to score, then it goes into sudden death, just regular, like we always know. Now, my question is, now with the NFL going towards like the high school and college style of overtime, do you think each team deserves a possession?
This rule is stupid. One, okay, if you go into overtime, both teams, if first team only kicks a field goal, then the other team gets the ball, wow. But then if the first team scores a touchdown, then it's over.
Right.
That's stupid.
Or if the team scores on a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, that's stupid. No, if you're going to give the overtime, if you're going to change the overtime, change them completely. Don't change it for a field goal or for a touchdown. It's too much stipulation. If you're going to say both teams get the ball, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, doesn't even matter. But I think it's messing up the game because throughout the entire history of it, it's always been sudden death.
Sunday.
And that was it. To change it now for people crying just because they couldn't win it in 60 minutes
Or they couldn't get a possession in
or
overtime?
whatever, they should kick rocks. Kick rocks. Don't change it.
Yeah,
It's already changed.
I definitely agree with you. If you change it, then you should change it completely because this whole little bridge thing in between sudden death overtime and college football overtime there's no middle. You can't find people are going to be arguing about this for years to come. Something's going to happen. I can see it now. This year's Super Bowl in Dallas is going to be there's something going to happen with overtime, and people are going to go nuts about this. Some big game, either it be in the regular season or the postseason. Something's going to happen, and people are going to talk about this and complain. But on the other hand, though, I do like the chance of giving teams that extra possession. Because sometimes kickers, they kick it on a kickoff, they kick it probably to about the 30, 25-yard line. And and teams are getting kickoff returners that specialize in getting from one end of the end zone to the other. And all they have to do is just get down that end and kick a field goal and win. That's how it is done, and I just don't like that pretty much. I think that it's, you should at least get another chance to try and win the game yourself. So.
We'll be right back with more on the range.